I won't stop till I hear him say,
But national currencies steal part of your future lifetime. This is my big point. It's a tool for enslavement. It's a tool for enslavement. Just to have them around requires your future work hours to pay on the assets that were acquired to create these IOUs. There's in chapter 4, it does explain that the entire currency system comes down to it's nothing but IOUs. And what is it that they owe us? They owe us part of our own future lifetimes. We have been monetized. We have been monetized.
Okay, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. I love that part of that video interview where he says you have been monetized. You have been watched. You are being recorded. You are being tracked. Everything that is going on in our financial system, ladies and gentlemen, is a massive awakening to most individuals that don't know what's really going on. So with that being said, in today's video breakdown, we're going to be talking about the International Monetary Fund, the Bank of International Settlements. I'm going to be going down the rabbit hole, showing you all some interesting connections and things today. And this video breakdown, I'm most likely going to have to make it a part 2 to this because of how long it's going to be. So with that being said, stick around for part 2 of this video breakdown. And if you enjoy deep dives like this, again, how we cover things here with an open-minded perspective on the CYPRX channels and platforms, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button. We do appreciate the love and the support. And if you enjoy video breakdowns like this or any other ones like it, share the videos with your friends and family members. Also, don't forget to go check out our debt crisis playlist and get yourself informed, get yourself awake and aware to what's really going on behind the scenes via this digital transformation in our global financial system. So today we're going to be talking about the IMF. Now, a lot of people don't really understand what the IMF was designed for intentionally, right? What it was actually made for. It was designed as a watchdog for the monetary world, for the global monetary world, and an exchange rate policy vital to global markets. That's what it was designed for. Today, the IMF consists of about 189 countries working to foster global monetary cooperation and secure financial stability, just for those individuals who don't know. Also, to facilitate international trade and promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, along with reducing poverty around the world. Now, its main role, though, the main role, and that's why I'm making this video breakdown, reading you all some fundamentals, and that's why I shared that video breakdown at the beginning with you all where the individual talked about surveillance and how currency is utilized to monetize. Its main role, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, is the surveillance of the global economy and providing nations with conditional loans. Now, the IMF remains a mighty player and shaper of our global financial system, and we know that they're embedded and directly connected with Ripple. We'll get into that in today's video breakdown as well. Like I said, I'm going to need to make a part 2, but this all stemmed from a fundamental that came out. I'll show you all that fundamental real quick, and we'll go down the rabbit hole of this fundamental, interesting connections and whatnot, compared to some things that the BIS has said on previous documents that I've shared with you all also on my Twitter. But I said to you guys in my tweet right here, and this is just kind of a scary tweet, and this is why I'm going to have to make a part 2 to this video breakdown, kind of going further into detail on this tweet here specifically. By the way, I do apologize if you hear my family upstairs. I'm on vacation right now at our lake house. So with that being said, my family's all upstairs. They're about to get up and cook breakfast. So I do apologize if you hear background noise. But check this out. I said the elite banksters, aka the biggest crime syndicate in the world, are planning the next false flag event. Mark my words. In my personal opinion, of course, right? My personal opinion. This isn't a fact. My personal opinion. Do your own research. And I firmly believe that it will make every other false flag event these elites have created look like child's play. This is the only way they get us to transition peacefully to a fully controlled CBDC system between now and 2027. This tweet will age well. Watch. Take that into consideration. Do your research. Like I said, I'm going to need to make a part 2 to this video breakdown, going in a little bit more detail on this tweet. So that leads me over here. IMF director issues crypto warning, a call for coordinated policy response to protect the global monetary system. Now, remember, I told you all that the IMF's main role is the surveillance of the global economy and providing nations with conditional loans. All right. So keep that in mind as we go through. It's fundamental. So some interesting highlights. It goes on to say, the executive board of the International Monetary Fund considers the rising adoption of crypto assets a threat to the global monetary system. I highlighted that in purple for you all. Remember that, because we're going to go over to a Bank of International Settlements PDF. Okay, and I'm going to show you all how they literally said that the 2022 cryptocurrency crash had zero effect on the global monetary system. So this, to me, is just another fundamental that comes out to steer the retail herd away from crypto adoption. Okay, because if you actually go look at the PDF, there's nothing bad when it comes to retail, I guess you could say, participants entering into the space via this global crypto system that they're attempting to in place. Okay, in particular, the widespread adoption of crypto assets could undermine the effectiveness of monetary policy, circumvent capital flow management measures, and exacerbate fiscal risks. Widespread adoption could also have significant implications for the international monetary system in the long term. Remember, I told you what the IMF was designed for. All right. The IMF says member countries should adopt effective strategies amid the rising popularity of cryptocurrencies. I'll get into those effective strategies here in just 1 second. It goes on to say, recent events in the crypto asset sector have underscored the potential heightened liquidity risks presented by certain sources of funding from crypto asset related entities. So again, remember this part right here where they say that the rising adoption of crypto assets as a potential threat to the global monetary system, right? Now, they have been attempting to control crypto and currencies for the longest time. Check this out. This goes all the way back in 2018, where they first mentioned that digital assets are a potential threat to the global monetary system. Okay, so just remember, keep in mind this purple highlighted part that I have from this document alongside this right here. So this is back from 2018. Okay, and we already know that Ripple is part of the high-level advisory board of the IMF. We'll get into that in just 1 second. Why Ripple XRP fits the bill of what the IMF would recommend to global central banks. Okay, remember this, of what the IMF would recommend to global central banks. Okay, that was an interesting highlight right there, considering some fundamentals I'll go over in just 1 second. I know that we're starting to open up portals and I'm not full circling everything yet, but just wait. It says less than 2 days ago, and remember, this came out 2018. Less than 2 days ago, Ethereum World News did a report on the findings of one of the IMF's deputy directors with respect to how global central banks should respond to the current threat of cryptocurrencies. Again, this came out in 2018. So this whole entire thing of them saying that there's a threat to the global monetary system if cryptocurrency adoption continues is nothing new, right? But a retail investor that doesn't know that will come read this and run far away, okay? Again, this came out where they were saying that crypto is a threat to the global monetary system before the last bull run, okay? So in the report, and by the way, before the last bull run, time is an important thing, because remember the last bull run, 2021, right, where Bitcoin hit its all-time high, this came out 2 years before that. Interesting enough, right? It goes on to say, cryptocurrencies disrupting the business as usual trend in the banking industry. In a report by Dong, the deputy director of the Monetary and Capital Markets Department, it was noted that for regular fiat to stay relevant, central banks needed to tokenize their currencies to be in tune with the times. But is tokenization really necessary when we already have a coin with payment solutions on the blockchain already working? This coin is none other than Ripple XRP and its products of XVIA, XCurrent, XRapid, and Ripple Net. So keep this document in mind as well. Real fast, I just want to take your attention to the PDF that was put out by the IMF with the strategies, the 9 elements that can help members develop a comprehensive, consistent, and coordinated policy response. These are the 9 elements and the strategies that the IMF released, right? So this is that PDF from that fundamental. It goes on to say safeguarding monetary sovereignty and stability, guard against excessive capital flow and volatility, analyze and disclose fiscal risks, establish legal certainty of crypto assets. That's a big one right there, considering the fact that Ripple and XRP will most likely be the first digital asset with 100% clarity. Going on, it says develop and enforce prudential conduct and oversight requirements, establish a joint monetary framework, establish international collaborative arrangements, monitor, again, look right here, monitor the impact of crypto assets. Remember what I told you all the IMF was designed for. strengthen global cooperation to develop digital infrastructures and alternative solutions for cross-border payments and finance. That's how they end this 9-elemental strategy plan that the IMF has put out. Now, again, it falls in line with exactly what I told you all the IMF was designed for. Okay. The IMF's main role is the surveillance of the global economy and providing nations, with conditional loans. It is the watchdog of the monetary and exchange rate policy, vital for global markets. Okay. Keep those things in mind as we move along. So back to this. They have been attempting to say that cryptocurrencies are going to disrupt and cause a massive negative effect in the global financial markets for quite some time. This is new, 2023, February 24th, right? Where they just said, considering the rising adoption of crypto assets a threat to the global monetary system. I want to take you back just to literally a couple of days ago. All right. This is how they play with your brain. All right. This came out February 22nd, 2 days prior to that fundamental, where I've been talking about this not only on the Twitter space, but here's what driving Bitcoin BTC adoption according to the Bank for International Settlements. Do you all remember the PDF that I tweeted out to you all on my Twitter space, where the Bank for International Settlements literally tells you all that retail traders buy tops and that bank and institutions manipulate bubbles into emerging asset classes or emerging market spaces and then pop them themselves to manipulate price, and larger investors profit before the smaller investors, or they profit from the smaller investors, literally telling you all that retail traders buy tops. Okay, so let's just take a pause real fast. Let's go over to this BIS document. All right, that is connected to the fundamental that just came out on the 22nd of February, right before the IMF fundamental came out. And again, how we analyze things here at CYPRX is we connect the dots. So remember how the IMF fundamental says that cryptocurrency is a risk, causes a systematic risk to the global financial markets? We'll check this out. This is from the BIS, and it says, right here highlighted, the market turmoil in 2022 had little discernible impact on the broader financial conditions outside the crypto universe, underlining the largely self-referential nature of crypto as an asset class. Right? Not enough? Let's go down here to page 7, where it continues to talk about this systematic risk. It says, crypto turmoil had little effect on the broader financial system. To ensure the stability of the financial system, societies must decide on the appropriate policy responses to address risks in crypto before they become systematic. They should preferably act in a global coordinated way. So it's telling you that the 2022 bear market had no effect on the global financial system, right? But yes, we do need appropriate policy responses to address risks before they become systematic. But there's a fundamental that comes out that tells you all, in a way, right? Retail traders that don't know how to break this stuff down and differentiate, if I'm saying that word correctly, separate the FUD from reality and understand that crypto regulation is healthy for this space, for institutional adoption to come into this market. And remember, the IMF has been attempting to do this and tell people this for the longest time, since 2018. This has nothing to do with price fluctuations or anything like that. This is a fundamental. This is an opinion from the IMF, okay? Because it says right here, they consider, that's the key word right there. But yet you see that the BIS is literally telling you that the 2022 bear market had no effect on the broader financial system. So let's all make sure that we're not getting flooded out by these fundamentals and that we actually understand what's going on behind the scenes. And that is 110% this digital transformation. So now let's move on. Now, back into this PDF, this is from the BIS again, where it literally talks about how retail traders buy tops. So I want to take a second real fast and want to transition over to a highly recommended book. Okay. Now, this book is called The Hidden History of Money, A New World Order. I highly recommend that you read it. You can go find it for free on Google and just find the PDF. Here it says, there are none so enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free, due to the elite's mass propaganda. The authorities keep playing with interest rates and taxes on behalf of the elite criminal mafia. Remember the tweet that I put out to you all, right? Interest rates and taxes determine how much of your labor goes to them and what you are left with to spend on your own. The elite enslave you with their own money, buying propaganda and legislation. You have to convert real goods and money to their vaporware, ledger paper money to live. You always inherit their internal collectivized debt. Money always trickles up to them. Their capital is our debt. When they gamble with derivatives, short sales, etc., we have to bail them out. Whereas the financial system is meant to safeguard the credit of the nation. Their financial system is a giant Las Vegas type of gambling house with the people's treasury being their slush fund. They create bubbles and pull out before the crashes. I highlighted this in pink. This is going to play an important role in connection with the BIS document where they're literally telling you this, okay? They think of you as their slave to do with you as they wish, like drafting you as a slave to go fight wars for them to profit. Now, if you're enjoying this video breakdown so far, if I'm not blowing your mind, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. And if I haven't blown your mind so far, check this out. So this is, again, a book called The Hidden History of Money, A New World Order, right? Where they literally tell you that they create bubbles and pull out before the crashes. Now, let me take your attention back to the Bank for Central Banks, the Bank of International Settlement PDF, okay? Where they literally tell you the same exact thing that this book about the hidden history of money in the New World Order is telling you. It says right here on page 5 of this BIS PDF, again, excuse me, you guys can see this is straight from the Bank of International Settlement BIS bulletin number 69. Okay, crypto shocks and retail losses. We come down here to page 5, and it says, however, larger investors probably cashed out at the expense of smaller holders. Large holders thus profited at the expense of small investors. It's literally telling you the same exact thing that this book is telling you in a more sophisticated way. And it is that larger investors buy bottoms and sell at tops. And in order for them to do this, they have to cause some type of global black swan or fundamental or something that will move the market. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about after I provide one more example. Okay, so here we're going to go down to page 6, where it says again, around the world, Bitcoin prices increase have been tied to greater entry by retail investors. However, most global investors have probably lost money on their crypto investments. These losses could be exacerbated by the fact that larger, more sophisticated investors tended to sell their coins right before steep price declines. Do you see that? It's literally telling you all right there, while smaller investors were still buying. It's telling you that major institutional investors, people with big money, they know what's about to happen before prices play out, before things play out. They sell right before price declines. Do you see this? Okay. Oh my gosh. I don't know how people don't see some of the things that we teach here at CYPRX. So again, the BIS document, Bank of International Settlements document, is connecting to a book that was written in like the 1990s, I'm assuming. Okay. That's telling you all that these elite individuals are corrupt. Okay. Now, real fast, let me show you all what it is that I'm talking about. Okay. Real quick to take you back to this tweet before we jump down the rabbit hole. Okay. The elite banksters, aka the biggest crime syndicate in the world, are planning the next false flag event, in my personal opinion. Let me take your attention over here to the charts real fast. Okay. I just want to blow your guys' mind. Actually, this fundamental will play a more important role for you to understand. Remember this? Satellite images show new Russian military buildup near Ukraine. When did this article come out? November 1st, 2021. Right when the war started to kick off. Well, if we go look at the BTC charts, okay, just as BTC is an example because it dominates the market, look at where these banksters sold at. Do you understand? They create bubbles and pop them themselves. Look at the charts. Straight November 1st, 2021. Do you all see when the market started to decline? Put that in correlation with the book that I just showed you, in correlation with what the Bank of International Settlements is saying to you all, that these major elite individuals, they sell when prices are high before the average retail investor. Now, crypto is not the only place where they do this at. Let me just take your attention over here. If you haven't checked out our Rumble content, I go into detail on how these individuals bought the bottoms of defense contracting stocks when the war kicked off. So we can see that they sold the top of Bitcoin when the war started again, which is a risk on asset. So what did they do? They started to put their money in the safe haven dollar, okay, which is when we started to see the decline of crypto. But nobody really pays attention to this. These are defense contracting stocks, ladies and gentlemen. Real fast, look at this. This is November 2021 when the war kicked off, okay? This is Lockheed Martin Corporation. This is a defense contracting stock, right? You guys can see right down at the bottom, where do you think the elite's positions are at in the market? Where do you think Congress's positions are at in the market? Where do you think all these elite bankers' positions are at in the market? Right down here, guarantee you. Right when the war kicked off. Okay, don't believe me? Let's take a look at another one. This is Raytheon, right? Interestingly enough, where's the bottom of price action at? Right here, November. Right before price started to incline is right when the war news came out. Okay, Russian troops, satellite troops spotted on the Ukrainian border. That's when they were buying up these prices. Here again, we see another one. Northern Grumman Corporation. All right, when were these banking elites buying up price? Again, at the bottom, right? Right before the war kicked off. Interesting enough, it's not just crypto, it's everything. These individuals, they manipulate the market. Now back to the whole spiel about Ripple and XRP and how they said right here that the IMF would recommend to the global central banks XRP. Okay. I want to take your attention over here to this fundamental that again came out back in 2017. So this was right after. Let me put this, let's drag this over here in front of this fundamental so you all understand the timeline. This came out in 2017, right before this article came out that says the IMF would recommend to global central banks the utilization of Ripple's XRP and its products XVIA, XCurrent, XRapid, and RippleNet. Like I said, I'm gonna have to make a part 2 to this. I'm gonna start wrapping this up here just to full circle everything for you all. The IMF just finished its first high-level meeting in blockchain. Now, a lot of individuals, influencers have already covered this. I know I have in the past. We already know that Ripple is a part of the high-level advisory board of the IMF, right? But just to show you guys some highlights, it says, while the meeting itself was not public, the panel was both streamed by the IMF live tweeted market panelists, Alex Tapp, author of Blockchain Revolution. This is where it gets interesting. He described to CoinDesk as a shift in the way global policy should be determined going forward. That's what this conversation was about that was not released to the general public. They're attempting to orchestrate a shift in the way global policy should be determined going forward. Now, remember the PDF that just came out, the fundamentals that just came out via the IMF. What are they doing? They're considering, they put out 9 elements that they think should help operate the system to consider the rising adoption of crypto assets and the threat to the global monetary policy. Remember, Ripple's a part of that board that's creating these 9 elements. They are part of the high-level advisory board, okay, pushing this information out to the world. Coming down here, it says, additional participants included Tao Zhang, Deputy Director of the IMF and former Deputy Governor of the People's Bank of China. Interesting. Carolyn Wilkins, Senior Deputy Governor at the Bank of Canada. Long Chen, Chief Strategy Officer at Alibaba's Anti-Financial Services. And Robert Garrison, the DTCC's CIO, among others. Right? Nothing to see here. Now remember, this came out 2017. Right after that, this came out where they said, again, that cryptocurrency could cause a potential systematic risk to the global financial system. Now, remember, in this fundamental, it says the IMF would recommend to the global central banks Ripple's XRP, right? Well, if you remember, in 2017, at the same time, look at this, in the same year, do you guys see the correlation? The same year that the IMF, right? The same year, you guys cannot make these connections up. Smash that thumbs up button if I'm about to blow your mind. The same time, the IMF had a meeting with Ripple and introduced him to the high-level advisory board. All in the same year, Ripple hosts world central banks to explore next generation of payments. And if we scroll down here to this fundamental on the ripple.com website, it says the second half of the day explored the technology breakthrough of digital assets and their emerging use cases. For example, one use case that has presented great promise is using digital assets as a liquidity tool. This follows for global reach. Without pre-funding, Ripple shared how the adoption of XRP to connect fiat currencies creates a new paradigm for liquidity, enabling greater reach to a lower cost than previously possible. The Ripple team discussed our research on adoption models, cost savings, and key takeaways from our trial with banks. Now remember, these 2 fundamentals came out in 2017. All right. Ripple had a meeting with the IMF. Ripple hosted central banks. In 2018, after that, this fundamental comes out where it says the IMF would recommend to global central banks Ripple and XRP's products, XVIA, XCurrent, XRapid, and RippleNet. You all see, remember, again, what the IMF's role is. and how it is that they're attempting to FUD people out of the market by putting out fundamentals like this, in correlation with the Bank of International Settlements fundamentals that say that there was no systematic risk to the global financial system during this 2022 crash. It is all a manipulative scheme. Ladies and gentlemen, something big is coming. And in order for them to cause another bull run in the cryptocurrency market, there has to be some type of catalyst, just like how there was back in 2019, 2020. Okay, think about what happened via the whole sickness revolution thing that was going around, right? That was a catalyst that was created so that way they could stimulate the economy, pump money into the economy to create bubbles in the crypto assets and risk on assets, so that way they could eventually turn it around full circle, pop the bubble with more fundamentals that come out at specific times, right when these individuals are selling tops. Put it all together, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you all enjoyed this video breakdown. Smash that thumbs up button. Like I said, I'm going to make a part 2 going into detail, maybe showing you all some interview clips, a little bit more on this specific tweet. Blessings. As always, do your own personal research. This is all my personal opinion. Be cognizant, be aware out there. Many blessings to you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.
I won't stop till I hear him say